Okay, this is another question, ladies and gentlemen. And this is 3.5 tutorial once again. So supposing you are given this guide to solve, how do you go about it? So the solution to the stuff will be, you look at it, if you check the smallest number here, which is 3 can divide all these guys. Apart from the division, this 9, 27, and likewise 81 can be transformed to look like, they can be transformed to look like 3. So this implies that, tell them that but 9 is the same thing as 3 raised to the power 2, 27 is the same thing as 3 raised to the power 3, and 81 is the same thing as 3 raised to the power 4. So all we need to do here is to substitute. Anywhere we see 9, we put 3 raised to the power 2. Anywhere we see 81, we put 3 raised to the power 3. Anywhere we see 27, we put 3 raised to the power 3. Anywhere we see 81, we put 3 raised to the power 4. So this gonna be, it implies we don't need to replace this one. We write it like that because we are using it as a template to get other ones. Then multiply by this guy, which is 3 raised to the power 2. We then put bracket to separate these guys from it. We have x plus 1. We then write multiply by 27 is something as 3 raised to the power 3. We put bracket to separate it from this minus x. Then all divided by 3 raised to the power 4 into 5x minus 3. So these guys will be, if we write equal to here, you can minimize this as 3 raised to the power x minus 2 multiply by, if we take this guy off, we have 3. Let's multiply the powers. We have 2x plus 2 times 3 raised to the power minus 3x all over. Then we take this guy. This becomes 3 raised to the power 4. 4 times this will be 20x minus 12. So since we've gotten it to this level, the next thing we'll have to do is according to the law of indices, law of multiplication, it says when you multiply with more than one basis, if the bases are the same, that we should pick one base and add up the powers. So the bases here 3, 3, 3 are the same. I'm concentrating on what? On the numerator for now. So we write down these 3 and add up the powers because of the multiplication we have. So this becomes x minus 2 plus 2x plus 2 plus bracket minus 3x, or raised to the power of 3, or divided by 3 raised to the power 20x minus 12. So this is gonna be 3 raised to the power, when we collect like terms here, we have this plus this is 3x, we have 3x, this plus this will cancel, minus 2 plus c is 0, 3x minus 3x, it will still be 0. So all we have here will be 3 raised to the power. Everything at the above will give us, or I can detail it for you guys. If I detail it, it will be this, x plus 2x is 3x. We say 3 raised to the power 3x minus 3x. Now we have minus 2 plus 2, all divided by 3 raised to power 20x minus 12. So this is gonna be 3 raised to power this 0, this 0. We have 3 raised to power 0 all over 3 raised to power. Let me pick it up. Let me take it up. Well, I still have space here. We have 3 raised to power 0 all over 3 raised to power 20x minus 12. So in this regard, this is how the thing is. So if we continue, you find out that, let me clean up this. If we continue, this guy will look like this. He said that anything raised to power 0 is 1, which means 3 raised to power 0 will give us 1. So therefore, it implies that instead of writing this guy, we have 1 all over 3 raised to power 20x minus 12. So this is the final answer. Suppose you are given this type of question to handle, how do you go about it? Okay, so you just need to write solution. You bring down the question. The question is 27x raised to power 3 times 64x raised to power 6 and all raised to power 3 1 over 3 multiplied by a bracket 3x this. Okay, so let me treat this first before this. So to treat it, it will be everything here. If you can recall, the very day I told you that I made you to understand that 2 raised to power 3 all raised to power half is the same thing as 2 raised to power 3 times 1 all over 2. And this is same thing as 2 raised to power 3 times 1 is 3 all over 2. So this is same thing as solving this. So in this regard, if you apply this technique, you can solve any given question to you that has to do with this pattern. So this will be, take this guy, since everything that is in this bracket is raised to power 3, it is the same thing as saying 27, or another method, if I give you 2 in bracket, if I give you 2, if I give you, let's say x, well, it doesn't change, it doesn't mean anything anyway. This is the same thing as, I want to take this thing like this, separately, take this, multiply by this, take this, multiply by this. I'm thinking of coming up with different techniques that could make this to be more easier for you guys. You and I know we can approach this using different techniques, but I want to optimize it very well for you guys. So this is something as saying 27 x raised to power 3 all raised to power 1 over 3 multiplied by 64 x raised to power 6 all raised to power what? 1 over 3. So you agree with me that I'm currently dealing with brackets. I want to leave this guy for now. So everything will be, this thing is the same thing as saying, because this both 27 and x raised to power 3 is inside a bracket. So it's the same thing as saying 27, you put cube root of this, because if I give you a raised to power 1 over 3 is something as saying cube root of what? A, all raised to power 1. If you can recall one of the laws of indices when I explain it to you. So I advise you to go back and watch my intro in indices. So this means all raised to power what? Half. Multiplied by this, x raised to power 3. So here we multiply everything accordingly. But when we get to 64x raised to power 6 all raised to power 1 over 3, we try to split it separately to make sure that the viewers or you guys get it outrightly. So there is virtually no big deal to whatsoever sake. I will also advise you to check one of the videos I did with regards to laws of indices. You'll be able to grab what's happened under here. So this is the same thing as saying, you ask yourself, cube root means if you get something like this, the question is, what number will multiply itself to give you what? 16. What number will multiply itself to give you 16? If you say 2 times 2, the answer is 4. You say 3 times 3, the answer is 9. You say 4 times 4, the answer is 16. So 4 is that number that can multiply itself to get what? 16. Alright, so this guy is cube root means what number will multiply itself 3 times to give you what? To give you 27. Only 3 can do that. 3 times 3 is 9, and 9 times 3 is 27. Please do yourself good by going through my intro to get this in the last slide. So this guy, the answer is 3 raised to power 1 multiplied by this guy x. This times this is 3 all over 3. That's 3 times 1 multiplied by this. Only 4 will times itself 3 times to give you what? 16, to give you 64 all raised to power 1 multiplied by this guy, which is x raised to power 6 times 1 is 6 all over 3. So I want to apply that technique. Mind you, I'm not dealing with this for now. I'll bring it later. Well, I can still go back to put it here. Well, let me leave it here. So this raised to power 1 is 3 multiplied by this guy, which is x raised to power 2 over 3. This is 3 over 3, which is 1. X raised to power 1, forgive me. Multiplied by this guy is 4 raised to power 1 is what? 4. Multiplied by x. 6 over 3 is 2. So this is what we'll get. It becomes 3 times x, 3x, because 3 raised to power 1 is x. Multiplied by 4 times x squared is 4x squared. So you remember that you said that everything here, which is 27 x cubed multiplied by 64 x 6 all raised to power half, is something I'm saying this times this is 4 times 4 is 12. X times x squared will give you x raised to power 3. So how we got this? If you say x is something as x raised to power 1, then x times x raised to power 2 means x raised to power 1 times x raised to power 2. And you know what law of indices is? If the bases are the same, keep one base. Because of multiplication, we add the power. So we get x raised to power 3. So this is how we got this anyway. Okay, so now if I clean up this and also clean up the top, remember this to come in handy. Want to give room to make it more pleasant for the viewer. Now this one will be this guy, everything here is this. He said, recall, if you remember that the main question was 27x raised to the power 3 multiplied by 64x raised to the power 6 in bracket 1 over what raised to the power what 1 over 3 multiplied by bracket 3x all raised to the power this. You know that this one alone has given us 12x raised to the power 3. He said, but this guy, bracket 3x all raised to the power minus 1, is something as saying 1 over what 3x. It's the same thing. So, since this guy is this, it now implies that this 12x cubed, which is everything here, will be multiplied by this guy, 1 over what 3x. So 12x cubed multiplied by 1 will give you 12x cubed, or divided by what 3 what x. 3 can divide 12 to give you 4. Now x can cancel. This 1x will reduce 3x, will get x cubed, x squared. So this is the answer, 4x squared.